Where's my coffee?
Number 1 and number 2.
Here's my coffee. In the new
¿Dónde está
year,
mi café?
I will drink more coffee. That is my resolution. I averaged 5 cups a day this past year. I will get that to 7.
Are you sure you can do it?
Actually, I don't think it was 5. It's probably 3.
5 a day or 3 a day even is a lot.
Well, at some point, it doesn't even work. Makes you tired. I have one later in the day, and I think I'm crashing. I need this coffee. Excuse me. I will not burp on the show. That wasn't even a burp. That was more of a hiccup.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, it was a hybrid burp hiccup where, nothing
It's
escaped.
like inward. It's like, does it go inward? Do you ever have those?
Yeah, I hate the hiccups. When I get the hiccups, I start trashing my apartment. I smash lamps and throw dishes. I yell.
Does it work?
I throw.
Is that a good way to get rid of hiccups?
Yes, I haven't patented it yet, but if I were to, that would be my patented way to get rid of hiccups. Throw a fit, distract yourself by smashing your whole apartment. Don't worry, the cleanup is worth it because nothing is worse than the hiccups. Like the person who got the hiccups for 12 years.
Yeah. That's part of me doesn't believe them.
Oh, you think they fake it? They go around
yeah
for 12 years?
I don't know why. Yeah.
Because it's something you would do.
Hey.
At a younger age, that's something I could see you sitting there like, what can I do that will be kind of weird, but kind of entertaining at the same time.
And so specific that it would be strange to make up.
Yeah. I've got the hiccups and they won't go away. They won't go away. It's been 6 years. I think you have to
6 more to go.
I think you have to give the person credit if they faked it. You have to give them credit at least.
Well, I think, I guess it's real. I'm sure it was real, but there's just something about it that makes me think there were times when they were gone. And then was it really 12 years?
From what I can recall from Ripley's Believe It or Don't, as it should have been named. Not Ripley's Believe It or Not, which is completely incorrect.
Believe it or not. But that's a phrase.
I know it's a phrase. It's an incorrect phrase, but it doesn't matter because language is fluid. And whatever the people want to use is what they can use. And that's the way it should be.
The phrase gained currency as the title of a cartoon series begun in 1918 by Robert Ripley and continuing to run in American newspapers long after his death in 1949. Eats drawing. Oh, stupid. Shut up. Why do people say, believe it or not, used to introduce a surprising fact? Yeah, I know.
Maybe if you rephrase it, why do people say believe it or not instead of believe it or don't?
Believe it or not.
Believe it or do not believe it.
Believe it or not.
Believe it or not believe it. Language is fluid. That's going to be the answer. That's always the answer.
Well, that is true.
That's the cop-out answer that everyone gives.
Yeah, as a cop-out, I'm not interested in that. It's like, that's like, it is what it is. It's like, no, I'm not ready for that. I want to know more. I can't find why.
I dedicated a lot of time to the language arts. But I guess that's a privileged stance to take because I had the opportunity at Autry Middle School. The Cobb County public school system was such a privilege that most people don't have. So for me to have learned the language in a way and used it, taken that seriously and used it in a way that was respectful of the language arts I learned. That's just a very privileged stance, you fucking idiot. You inherently racist asshole.
Huh?
That's the other side of the argument. The one part is, what is going on? Why are you using Ripley's Believe It or Not? That's not correct. Well, language is fluid, and if enough people, and then the other half of that is, and if you want to argue that, you're racist. That's okay. I filled in the blanks in between that line.
You went from C to F. I didn't know how you got there.
So I filled in the blanks. That's somebody calling you racist for wanting to use the language properly. That's how they would get there.
I feel like that you might be the first person to ever bring up whether it should be believe it or not, or believe it or don't, because I don't. There's nothing here about it. I don't find anything.
No, I heard
about
it somewhere.
Believe it or don't.
Well, I heard it somewhere from a trusted source, Reading Rainbow or something like that.
Geordie LaForge.
I didn't make it up on my own. I heard it somewhere, and I thought, you know what? That's right. And whoever said it, I trusted.
Believe it or not believe it.
But apparently I shouldn't, because the people on that show are faking 12 years of hiccups, according to you. I'm the cynical one.
There just seems like there's got to be a moment where it's gone, right? The hiccups are gone, but it's become such a part of your life that you're like, no, I still, like, I don't want to get rid of these hiccups, really. Ugh.
It's a curse.
Except if I know it sounds really like a curse.
Do you think that person had the New Year's resolution? This year, I'll get rid of my hiccups.
12-year-old keeps getting hiccups. Here, what's the all right? Hiccup world record? What is it?
We should change the name of the show to just
68 years.
We should change the name of the show to just Search It Live. What are you doing on today's show? I have no clue. Whatever we talk about, we're going to start searching while we're recording, and you're going to listen to that search.
American Charles Osborne, 1894 to 91, had hiccups for 68 years, from 1922 to 1990. See, are you serious?
I mean, he didn't kill himself. I have to assume that a lot of the people who had hiccups that didn't go away would kill themselves, so therefore they didn't have it for 80 years or 60 years.
Well, if you look up what this man looks like, he looks like it killed him.
A man who had the hiccups.
20 hiccups. The beleaguered fellow reportedly experienced 20 hiccups per waking minute for a total of 400. Well,
how can you live? It sounds miserable.
Oh, he had an accident.
He had the world's strongest diaphragm, though. It was like curling nonstop for 60 years.
Yeah.
Think about your biceps.
Just twitch, twitch, twitch. I'd rather have a twitching bicep for 68 years.
Well, I'm just talking about if you sat there at a curling bench and you curled.
Oh, it's not that much.
Your biceps would be huge. And if you're working out your diaphragm like that, nonstop, 20 times a minute, he had the world's strongest diaphragm.
I hate fucking articles like this. They're like, they start talking about hiccups in general.
Well, that's the way everything goes. That's the way
they generally occur for only a few minutes, are now perceived more as an irritant. Like, what?
Recipes, for example.
Oh my God, recipes
you get a whole backstory on pizza and where pizza started, and then the person goes into a story about how their grandma made the pizza.
Yeah,
like, just give me the fucking ingredients and give me the cooking instructions.
Well, thankfully they have that jump to recipe button.
But why does everyone have to insert all that? Artichoke
pizza
dip
starts with a P. It's a P-I, and then followed by 2 Z's and an A.
And don't even get me started on pie. Mentioning P-I.
Pizza pie.
Mathematical.
And isn't it? Wow.
Okay, so we said we're going to start anew this year.
Yes.
And actually focus on fucking topics. And I'll start putting the theme song back in properly.
Okay.
Even though I'm still recording downstairs. But we'll just take a break here. This is where the theme will be inserted.
Okay. Welcome to One Topic, where we stick to where we are trying to stick to one topic. My name is Autumn Fisher.
My name is Greg Russ. We'll see about that. I would like to focus a bit more. It doesn't have to be super focused, but I would like to focus a little more. And something happened over the break. I was looking, I logged into our dashboard, our podcast dashboard. On New Year's Eve, for some reason, we had a shitload of downloads.
Oh, really?
So many. And then again, yesterday. And I guess some of that probably is yesterday people are getting back to work for the first day and the Von Hessler Doctrine's not back on the air. And they think, what am I going to listen to? Radio Labyrinth? You're right. One Topic.
Hell yeah.
So we had quite a few downloads and I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what to do. But I think that if we were, here was my worry. If we are pulling in people who don't normally listen and they heard some of the last few episodes where I'm playing the theme on my phone.
People don't mind. They know us, you know?
Well, again, people who listen know us, but the people who maybe were listening who don't normally listen, who possibly know us a little bit from the radio show, but like, this is what they do. And maybe we didn't hook them. Maybe that was our opportunity. And because I was being lazy playing the theme from my phone, we lost them. And then they thought, One Topic. What the fuck? They've talked about a million different things. I don't know how to even begin to understand how they claim this is one topic. And then also that Greg is a negative piece of shit.
Well, maybe not this year. Not to say you won't be negative. You'll still be, your cynical self, but maybe
realistic.
More,
more what?
Open-minded to the possibility of things being not so negatively charged.
Very open-minded. I was going to say this. One of my New Year's resolutions is to be less negative, which means I won't be any different because I am not negative. I am realistic. The things I say, I dare you to argue. I dare you to say that I'm wrong. You can't because it's
just a point of view.
In reality.
Oh, okay.
I went through my hopeful phase.
Yeah.
And all I got was human garbage thrown in my face. Anyway. Look, I surely can get into moods. I get into moods and I just become a little more ranty. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's not totally negative. I'm not the one who said that the girl with the hiccups was faking it.
Dude, this guy, 68 years, beat that girl's record by 1 billion days.
So, getting back to One Topic.
Mm-hmm.
What is the topic going to be? Maybe we should start actually planning in advance again instead of jumping in and saying, what went on this past week with you? We never did a show because it's so hack. But I looked back on New Year's resolutions. We did one where we talked about purging shit.
Yes.
It was called Greg's Closet.
Yeah.
New Year's purging.
Okay.
Had nothing to do with barfing.
No, but do you want to talk about resolutions?
Some people do barf though. That's a good New Year's purge. Like I didn't realize it at the time, but that show meaning could have also been, it's New Year's Day and I'm barfing. I'm purging.
Oh yeah, because they drank too much.
Yeah. See, that was pretty cool. That was a double entendre.
Double entendre.
That was awesome.
I was asked if I have any New Year's resolutions. And I was
Who asked you? Yeah.
An Uber driver.
Would it? No. Well, okay.
Yeah, they're making small talk.
Give him more of a pass.
It was a lady.
Whoa. I'm sorry I'm not with the times. It's like the old riddle that I know I've brought up on the show before. But
a father and his son got into a car accident and were rushed to the hospital, and the doctor said, I can't operate on this child. He's my son.
How could that be?
What? A man is found hanging in an empty room.
Well, the limits on that, from back in the day, they were trying to prove the point that the mom could be the doctor, and you're,
Yeah.
oh my God, a woman can be a doctor, but they didn't dare say that maybe the kid had two dads.
That's right. Now it would be different.
So you could have a couple answers there for this riddle, but
You could be so progressive that you say the doctor is his other dad and the dads are homosexuals, and it's like, well, why does the doctor have to be a man? Like, but wait.
Well, I'm clearly not progressive enough
No.
to think about Uber drivers being women. I apologize.
Anyway, she asked me, and I was like, I don't know. I bought a planner.
Why?
It was an impulse buy at Target. You know, you look at it, and a planner, an empty new planner. First of all, stationery rules. I mean, pens.
Was it Lisa Frank?
Yeah, it was in the back to school section in December. No, it was.
Well, I figure, look, an impulse buy. If I were to buy something that I wasn't thinking about buying, it would be a Lisa Frank. I'd say, look at those sparkles.
Lisa Frank doesn't exist. They don't have Lisa Frank anymore.
What happened to Lisa Frank?
She had hiccups for 68 years.
No, come on. When the Lisa Frank still exists.
Are you sure? Not like it did, and not like in its heyday.
I just went to Lisa Frank's website. Shop collaborations. There's that old logo that I remember that's ingrained in my brain.
Yeah, with like the leopard.
And there's a bunch of ripoffs too. People selling things on Etsy saying Lisa Frank, and then you click on it and it says in small print way under. Like the title says Lisa Frank, and then in small print, inspired by Lisa Frank.
Etsy is another example of something that was so cool and just spiraled. Just like Airbnb, you know, it started out as something and then bullshit took it over, and now it's all stuff from like, I don't know, Shein and China, mass produced.
Yeah. You can still find things, but it is a pain to have to sift.
You don't know. You find something and you think someone's made it, but really they just ordered like in bulk from Temu or whatever.
I do reverse image search, and if it pops up anywhere else, it's like, nope, not buying it.
Smart.
I'm not saying that that's a 100% fail safe. There could still be a brand new item hot off the Chinese factory presses that
that's true
hasn't been sold yet.
Yeah.
There was a Secret Santa that I was a part of with Christina's family. They're just so big, and it's like, hey, instead of everyone buying everyone presents, and I got one of her cousins, and really people just put a list of things they want, and on the top of the list was an outfit, and it was on Amazon. I was like, no, I'm not fucking buying you this. I took a stand.
Why?
But because they never look like they seem in the pictures. They don't fit. They're made like shit. The stitching comes undone. They unravel. I said, I'm not buying you this. I'll get you these isotoner gloves and this coffee mug instead. That's lower on your list. And then I wrote an explanation and asked that explanation was shared, because this outfit, there was a reason. I have some standards, and I bought a jacket once it was this cool looking jacket. I said, this thing is going to be amazing. And I should have known better. When you buy any clothing off of Amazon, unless there's like an official brand store, I guess they could have those on Amazon if they wanted.
I've gotten some stuff from Amazon that's okay.
It never looks like it looked in the pictures. Like it's the same design and it's close enough. You're like, but I can't like definitively say this isn't correct, that you send me something I didn't order, but it also is not what I ordered. It doesn't match, and it's boxier, and it doesn't fit the same way.
What kind of outfit was it?
I don't know how to explain that. I don't know. Pants and a shirt, but it was like the thing, meaning uniform,
like all in one.
Yeah, it was
like a jump, like a romper.
No, but it was two pieces.
Oh,
a romper is like one piece, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I guess you could say it's close to that, but it had two pieces instead of one.
It's funny that you felt like you had to make them read aloud your justification for not buying the thing on the top of their list? Why couldn't it just be like, this is what I wanted to get you out of your options? They wouldn't have known that you had taken some weird stance on their outfit choice.
I feel as though that you put the thing at the top of the list and you get excited.
Not necessarily. It's just at the top because maybe that was the last thing you selected.
I reordered things so that the top was the thing I wanted the most.
Oh.
It's human psychology. Whatever people see at the top, they're going to assume. That's
I don't assume that at all.
That's most wanted.
I look at a list and think, oh, here's all the things that have been added to their list. And I think the thing at the bottom is probably the oldest thing. So.
Well, I feel as though when there's 3 items, if there's a longer list, I would agree with you. Because a longer list at that point, it's like, who's going to take the time to actually order this? Like when radio stations do the definitive 1,019 songs of all time for the Memorial Day countdown. And I'm referencing something very specific at 1019 RXP here in New York, the station I worked for, counting down the top 1,019 songs. Okay, tell me what is the difference between 852 and 791? Huh? And all those in between. How'd you set those apart? What was the criteria? What'd you do there?
I really don't know how they do something like that for real. How is that possible?
It's arbitrary.
Yeah.
And then the smart thing that the guy did, who didn't even work at the station full time, he was just a guy who did a specialty show on the weekends. His name was Rich. He said everyone expects it to be Stairway to Heaven as number 1, or at least close to the top of the list. He's like, put it at number 1,002. And so there was some argument. People were like, no, we can't disrespect that song like that. And he's like, look, if you want people to be interested in this, if they happen to hear that, or they look back at the list and they see that Stairway to Heaven, a song that they expected to be near the top, was way in the back, it'll at least pique curiosity, even if for a second, which is more than you're doing at this point. I thought it was a good idea.
It is a good idea. But it also is not the reason for making a list. The reason for making a list is not to get eyeballs on the list. The reason for making a list is because, I mean, you feel drawn to categorize people's favorite songs into a list. So if Stairway to Heaven is superior over all those other songs, then it has to be number 1. Putting it on a weird place in the list just proves your point that it is arbitrary.
Yes. I mean, that's fine. I think the idea is you get people curious and they stick around and listen more, but nobody's listening for 1,019 songs because that also takes days.
Who cares? Why is anyone listening to why? I'm going to stick around and listen to the 1,000 songs.
If it were 25.
What is this, like the 1940s where I'm listening to the radio and I'm sitting around and I can't wait for number 1?
If it were 25, I could see someone maybe sticking around. Possibly. Look, we laugh at this, but the River is still highly rated in Atlanta. It's one of the, it was the number 1 station for a very long time, and it was recently dethroned by WSB.
Hell yeah.
AM, not
Do
FM.
I get a bonus for that?
You have no bonus structure. Are you kidding me?
I do. I got a little. I'm still part-time. I still don't have health insurance from the company, but they got me bonus things.
Well, that's nice, but I don't know because you have to get into the demographics. I only saw the top level.
I have a question for you.
6+ numbers, which don't actually mean shit when it comes to selling advertising. Yes.
So Travis still pays for my health insurance, even though we are divorced, and he's worried that eventually his company is going to somehow find out that we're no longer married and that he's still paying for me as like a spouse, and that they're going to come say like, you owe us some, $80,000 or something.
I don't know the way that works. I don't know if they
For me, I think, first of all, like, how would they know anything without him telling them? You know what I mean? Like, companies aren't just sifting through, like, let me double check and see if these two are still married.
I don't know enough about insurance. Is it insurance fraud at that point?
Right.
Probably not, because you're not making false claims. Like, to me, insurance fraud is I rammed my car into a tree on purpose and then said that I went outside and the tree fell on it. And
I guess it could be fraud if he's asked in paperwork, who is this person to you? And you put spouse. But I'm pretty sure in our divorce whatevers, like in our paperwork, that it said that he would pay for my health insurance.
all right.
I don't know.
Well, I to me, again, this is not any.
I need a lawyer.
Yes, I do not know. I'm pulling this. This is out of the air. This is just as trustworthy as the top 1019
Yeah.
rock songs of all time. I would assume that the insurance company would say, no, you can't do this anymore. And that would be the end of it.
Yeah, I would think that too.
I don't see them coming back and trying to claw money.
Yeah, I'd be like, sue me, I guess.
Yeah, I don't see that.
For 80.
But
yeah, well.
Who knows? Somebody listening right now is saying you're an idiot. You're going to be in jail before you know it.
To me, it seems like just keep your head down and not to say ignore it and it'll go away. But honestly, I just don't see how a company, unless like I don't see how a company would, like, even on like your taxes, they're not getting information about whether you're head of household or single or divorced, are they? It's none of their beeswax.
Well, it is because you get tax breaks if you're head of household.
Yeah, but that's for you, not for them.
For who?
That's for the person, the individual, not for the company.
The company. Yeah, the company doesn't care about you being.
That's what I'm saying.
Household.
So what I'm saying is that they're not getting information from your as your status as far as whether you're married or single or divorced.
Well, the company
or separated.
Is paying more. The company, I am assuming, is paying towards the health benefits, and when there's more people on there, look, there's also a family plan. And
but isn't Travis paying for it, not the company necessarily?
No, the company.
Oh, they pay for part of it. Yeah, sorry.
Yes, and it costs them more. So they have more of an interest than you lying on your taxes saying you're head of household when you're not, because as far as they're concerned, it's not costing them any more money. You're keeping money from the government at that point, although they do have checks in place. I used to file as head of household all the time.
I do that still. Aren't you allowed to do that?
Well, when it came to me, no, because head of household, and I really wasn't trying to defraud the government. This was when I was younger and I had just moved out. I was like, yeah, I'm the head of my household. I run this place. I live alone. Like it really wasn't.
I don't understand why that's what I do. You're not allowed to do that?
You having kids, it's a bit different, but no, I don't think so. You have dependents, which I assume, each take one kid when you do your taxes.
We do, yeah.
Head of household is where people are dependent on you, be it a child or an older person, and you're not their legal guardian, but you're still, paying for them to live, making sure that they eat and get food and don't die. And I know it seems like a small distinction, but there are certainly instances where, people get in relationships and people already have kids, and maybe something happens and then that person is then taking care of that other person's kid, and then they would be the head of the household because they're paying for the expenses of that kid. But
okay, generally, to qualify for head of household filing status, you must be able to claim a qualifying child or qualifying relative as a dependent. However, a custodial parent may be eligible to claim head of household filing status based on a child, even if the custodial parent released a claim. I don't know what that means, but okay, so you're right. You can't do it, but I can.
I don't know, because you're already claiming the kid as a dependent. So
yes, you must be able to claim a qualifying child.
Oh, no, but you're right, because you're not filing as married anymore. So yes, It would be head of household.
Okay, good. But you messed it up. That makes sense though, especially the way that they categorize it. We're like, do you run your house? Are you alone? It's like, yeah. That's me.
Yeah, I run my fucking house.
Yeah.
You punish me because I file single.
Right.
I was messing around with it last year. And in true form, we are not sticking to one topic. But I guess if the topic was New Year's resolutions, nobody keeps those fucking things anyway. So here we are, already breaking the resolution that we're sticking to one topic.
Remind me to talk about why people break resolutions so quickly.
I really want to get back to one topic, but I'm going to frame the show as what I just said. That's my excuse for this
Okay,
show. My
that's
New
fine.
Year's resolution, as I wrote in the group text, is jelking. I'm going to jelk more.
What's jelking? Did you say what jelking was?
No, I didn't say what it was. I just like the idea. Everyone's saying they would go to the gym. Like, it's the new year. I'm going to start working out. And jelking is an exercise where you stretch your wang. And then people claim if you put in hours and hours, it gets bigger.
Well, I
So,
guess you're stretching the like connection.
you can also damage it. Like to
Yeah.
it's don't. It also has to be
Lower sensitivity, I'm sure.
Yeah, it
Right?
also needs to be like semi-erect, so you can push the blood through, but not fully.
Ew,
Like,
that
none of
Play-Doh
this
stage.
this doesn't sound like a good thing, but I think it's funny you didn't even know what it was.
No, I'm. That's surprising that I didn't know what it was. Thank you for teaching me something new.
I really like the comparison of people working out. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to do exercise too this year. I'm going to jelk. Anyway, what were we saying? Head of household.
Head of household, taxes. If I'm still on Travis's insurance.
No, there was something way past all of that I was going to. Oh, I was just fucking around last year.
Oh, right. Yeah. That is fun to do when you like go through and you like start over on TurboTax. You're like, what if I answered this different? Will that do anything?
Well,
different?
adding, changing it to head of household or
Yeah.
changing it to married. My fucking God, the amount of savings. Like how much money I owed $3,000 to the federal government. And after changing it, I would have been
to
paid
married?
like $6,000. Yeah.
You would have paid more?
No, I would have.
Oh, you have been paid. Oh, I know. It's fucking bullshit. I mean, can't a bitch be single in this world? You got to be married to get any money from the goddamn government, or just don't promise me any money. You know,
it's an archaic system. It
really
pretty fucked up. It's like, oh, single. All right, give us more money.
Right.
Oh, you're driving me. You're driving me down this path to get married and have kids.
Yeah, why?
Yeah, that's what we want. That's what we want. That's what
we need more voters.
God. Well, sure, ultimately. I don't even know if it's voters. We need more people to eventually pay us taxes.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
We need more taxpayers. They want less voters, honestly. The fewer voters there are, they like that people don't go out and vote because then it's easier to just manipulate the people who do vote. You focus on them, and it's
voting
like,
is
right.
also very archaic now, I feel like, because it doesn't seem to matter who you vote for. Nothing ever gets there's a fundamental flaw. Just like, maybe in the beginning it was cool, like Airbnb and Etsy, and now the government is the corrupted Etsy and Airbnb.
I can't believe that voting ended up like Airbnb.
It's true, though.
It used to be such a cool platform where it really was about experiences and sharing your home and allowing people couch surfing is what that was.
Uh-huh.
Which I would never do the other. I hosted couch people.
Ew, I would never sleep like someone smells like their bodies like ugh.
I hosted people, but I would never want to be the one that goes. I just had this conversation yesterday.
Uh-huh.
Just about how when I go to Atlanta, I won't stay at my parents that often. I'll stay in a hotel. Or even if I were to go visit someone else in another city, like my cousin lives in Seattle, for example, and like, you could stay at the house. Like, no, I'll get a hotel because I like having my own space.
Yeah.
And this is the thing with Maine, because the Maine trip is coming up, and maybe this is where this came from, because I found a very small cabin next to the bigger cabin where everyone stays in Maine. And I didn't book it, but I really was tempted to book it because it's honestly like a 2-minute walk. So you could hang out with everyone and then go have your own space at the end of the night.
That's nice.
And it's not the couch that I'm above. I'll sleep on a couch if it's in a private room. And the thing is, with my parents, you do get a private room, or if I went to my cousin. So even that's not quite enough. I just like having my own space. But sleeping on someone's couch in a public area, you could have a fucking king bed in the public space, like in the living room. It's not the bed. I don't want to sleep in a space where there's people milling about.
Yeah, they get up in the middle of the night to like get something from the cabinet. Like, sorry. Like, I should turn the light on for a second.
I have zero interest in that. And if I have the means, even if it's more money I would want to spend, at the end of the day, it's worth it.
Or when it part of the budget.
Well, when I traveled too, I traveled with my friend Matt when we went to Ireland this past year, and people, why aren't you sharing hotel rooms? Fuck that. No, we're
Yeah.
both
You're already
adults who have
sharing. Yeah, you're already
money.
sharing. Yeah, that's true. And you're already sharing so much time together. Uh, it might have been necessary to separate a little bit.
I think it's very necessary
Yeah.
to have some space. But the couch surfing, on the other hand, when people would stay with me, I enjoyed it for a day, maybe two, if it got to be more than that, which I never set it up to be more than that. But there was this woman, Julie, who came in from France, and she stayed at the place for 2 nights and then asked if she could stay a third night. By that third night, like, I'm just fed up with it because
Right.
you know, you don't need to entertain the person the whole time. They do go off and do their own things in New York, but it's your space. You don't really want to leave them there alone. I lied. I said, no, I forget what I said, but I came up with some excuse and I kicked her out. And I kind of felt bad, but I also, after it was all said and done, thought, back to being alone. Thank God. And then Philip came home and pissed me off, my roommate at the time. It's like, God damn it. I thought you were working tonight.
Dang it. You just wanted to be alone. Why aren't you alone in your room?
I know, but it kind of sucks to always have to just be in your room when you want to be alone.
Yeah.
So I haven't, living alone for so long. It was great.
Yeah. I have trouble thinking about what it would be like to live with someone again. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, you've only ever done it.
Yeah.
There's never been a time before this you lived alone.
Yeah, there was.
For what, a month?
6 months.
When you went to Zoffieville and then said, yeah, come on in.
No, I was in Decatur living in my own apartment. And then a place in Zoffieville opened up. And so I moved in, or I got it. I got the spot. And then Travis's roommates were like, so when are you moving in with Autumn? And it was like, oh, I guess I'm moving. I was like,
that's how that
okay.
happened.
Yeah.
The roommate said, when are you moving in? You're like, okay, I guess I have to do this now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you were excited.
I was excited. I was nervous. And I was sad to leave my place, but I was really excited about Zoffieville. And then also, you
could have lived there alone. Why didn't you go to Zoffieville alone?
Because Travis's roommate said, when are you leaving? And he said, okay, I guess I'll leave. And I said, okay.
Wait, I'm confused.
Travis's roommates
Yes.
told him, hey, Autumn's moving into Zoffieville. That's cool. When are you moving in with her?
So you were planning on moving there alone?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I was getting confused about. I thought that moving to Zoffieville was contingent on you moving in with someone.
Oh, no. But, I mean, I could have just said, no, I want to do this alone, but I would not have had the guts to do that. And it felt like, fortune favors the bold. Just like, do it, see what happens. And then we were buying furniture together, and I had a panic attack, which I had never had before.
Yeah, you should have listened to that.
I know, I didn't. I was like, nope, no. Don't listen to my body. Don't listen to that.
But
bless him. Listen, it's not like it didn't work out. We were together for 10 years, still are friends, got kids, it's all good. But
got health insurance.
Yep, still got that health insurance. Maryland.gov insurance. Okay.
I just think it's funny. Look, because I'm certainly not above any of that. The way I've rushed into relationships,
right.
Like when I was dating Jessica, for example, I was hesitant and if I should use names, but I was all in on that. And then
you were.
The moment there was a day we were at a furniture store and I had the house in Atlanta and it's like, you should move into that house. And I reacted similarly. I was like, oh my, what the fuck am I doing? I don't want any of this. This is not right. And it kind of feels like it's too late at that moment.
Yeah.
Like, and I, that's why I fled back to New York. It's like, I didn't completely bail, but once the wheels were in motion, it's like, oh, you're moving into the house that I own. And
right.
Why have I gotten to this point? And on the flip side with Christina, when none of that shit presented itself, I because I had
None of
never
what shit presented itself.
any of those anxieties or that
Oh.
fear or that freaking out. That's when it's like, okay, yeah, I think, you know, let's get out of this smaller apartment that I'm living in and find a place.
Yeah.
And listening to myself, I guess there was a fear at some point that I would never feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And so I kind of had to force it because it bounces around. At least it bounced around in my head. It's like, I don't know, maybe I'm not a person who would ever feel comfortable wanting to live with a person. And you, like you said, you just have to jump in and do it. And then you figure it out. And
yeah,
the few times I tried that, really the only time I ever got even close was with Jessica, to living with someone. And every other time the conversation would come up, it's like, no, I don't want to do it. I still have that internal dialogue with myself, go back and forth. It's like, I don't want to. Well, maybe you should. You just need to do it. So there's a fear that it would never present itself. With Christina, though, that was pretty obvious that it would work, and I wasn't freaking out.
See, I sort of feel like now that I would be like a particle that was being observed, right? It's like I'll behave differently. You know, like when I'm alone, now that I've been alone and I like it so much, it feels like if someone's around, then I won't do these things that I would do if I were alone. And I don't like that idea.
Well, that's one of the hardest things I think to do, is to figure out how to be yourself.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the things you want to do, at least in your mind, and maybe in practice, aren't the most appealing to the other person. Like, I want to put myself out there like that. I'm not talking about like farting and picking your nose and stuff, but just, you know, the things that you want to do, that you want to watch.
Well, just like lazing around and like being seen. That's like, I'm fine with sort of laying around and being lazy, but then it seems like if someone's there, it's like, oh, I should get up and do something because I'm just being lazy.
Yeah, I get it. I like being lazy.
Particle being observed. Like, now I have to behave differently.
I like lounging around.
Yeah.
I still struggle with that. And it's all self-imposed.
But when you were alone, did you struggle with that?
No, but but in general, that was one of the big things of being in relationships. I couldn't fake things. I became very resentful if I felt as though I had to act in a way that I didn't want to. Mm-hmm. And that's why my relationships were limited to, 2 days a week, and they would last 2 years or something. Because I never felt as and a lot of this was on me. If you look back at the people I dated,
sure,
if I were myself fully, some of them, it wouldn't have worked. They wouldn't have liked that. It wouldn't have matched. And then other ones, it probably would have been okay. And it's not, I'm not trying to put this on the other people, saying it was their fault. It was certainly something I needed to figure out on my own. But there was always that fear. It's like, well, if I am myself, they may not like it, so I can't let them see that. And like you said, I do tend to like to lounge around, and that made me feel bad. It's like, well, they'll judge and think that I'm lazy or whatever. Maybe I am lazy. Who fucking cares?
But it's really not about what they're thinking. It's about what you think about it. And like, yes, when you're seeing yourself through someone else, you're like, oh, I'm this. When it's by yourself, you're like just existing in your own body.
Like, oh yeah, I'm this.
Right. And I guess I don't want to be confronted with that.
Well, if you find, I don't want to say the right person, because there's many people.
Yeah.
But if you find a person who understands these things.
But that's the thing, it's not about them.
Yes, there's that side of it with you that you need to work through and just become comfortable doing it.
Yeah.
And then, because there are certainly people who will judge you and say things about it too, if they don't like the way
you're
you're
gonna lay around
acting.
all day? Okay.
Yeah, there's people who will say, so there's a person who understands that autonomy, being yourself, is an important thing. And really, if you're going to enter any kind of relationship that you want to last for an extended period, that shit needs to stay intact.
Yeah.
It does. And anyone who goes into something's like, I'm going to change this person, I don't like the way they're acting. It's like, you just need to, if you don't like the person as they are, then what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, if somebody else were really judging me, that would be different. Like, damn, mind your own business.
I don't know what people think though. Like I have a friend who was living in a place in a city and he was about to move and he started dating someone and he told them that up front. It's like, hey, I'm not going to be here much longer. I just want you to know that if you're not interested in dating and hanging out, that's totally fine. And she said, no, that's cool. And then it got to the point where she freaked out and said at some point, I just thought you weren't going to move. I thought you'd change your mind.
Oh, why did she think that?
Well, I think a lot of people approach relationships that way and not necessarily the move. I think the moving serves as a good example because not everyone's moving, but people present themselves as who they are. Some people lie, yes, and people modify and you're on your best behavior when you first meet someone. But if you're doing it correctly on your side, you're presenting yourself. This is who I am, and I'm giving you the information you need to decide if you want to proceed with this. And I think most people, even if they think, no, this isn't for me, will still fucking say yes for whatever reason, thinking it'll change or they'll be okay with it. There's a real lack of self-awareness.
Oh,
it's like, hey, I'm a person who doesn't like this behavior and this person has this behavior as their fucking foundation. I really like them, but it's probably not a good fit. Nobody does that. Few people do that, I should say. So I need to end this now.
Or they say that they're okay with it, and then when it comes time, like you're saying, for the person to move, or that person presents themselves the way that they presented themselves in the beginning and that you thought were different, it's now up to you to like manage that. Don't put it on them. It's like they told you. Like you need to quietly handle that yourself. Don't put it on them.
Totally. And it's still difficult.
Of course, yeah. I'm not saying that person, like, I mean, if I were her, I would be like, I guess I'm okay with it. Maybe I'll be okay with it. Maybe I won't. But let's keep going. And then it's like I'm betting on I'm I don't know, just like do it anyway, and then be
and
if
you
get
if you feel disappointed or hurt at that point, like you said, you have to at least say, well, this is my problem because the person did tell me.
My friend has told a couple people that she's seen that she's not interested in a relationship. She's not like, I don't want a relationship. And these people, like, they hook up and then they constantly text her and like talk about like her being their kid's stepmom and like what they'd name their kids. And she's like, what the fuck? I told you from the start that I'm not interested in a relationship. You know, I don't want to see you after this. Like, this is it. And they're like, do you have you thought about buying a house in this area? There's good school districts there. Like,
I don't know what goes through their mind.
The fuck? Especially from a dude's point of view. Like, I always think if that was a woman, she would be like burned in the village square for being a psychopath.
Well, dudes are psychopaths, clearly.
Yeah, they are.
But what goes through someone's mind? They either think that she doesn't know what she wants.
Yeah.
And yeah, whatever. You clearly have no clue. Or they think they're so wonderful that they'll change her mind. Or both. Both those things can exist. I just think it's a very strange thing not to take people at their word. Whatever they tell you, it's like, all right, I'm going to go with that.
Yeah. And then when she doesn't text you back after like 50 texts in a row of, not in a row, but, you know, over weeks of no response and you're still texting, like, take that in.
Then it becomes ego. Then it becomes what?
There are a couple times where they're like, you know, I won't contact you anymore. It's okay. Like, I understand, you know, you're busy and you're doing you have your life or whatever, but all right, you know, see you later. And then they text again. Hey, just wondering if you saw blah, blah, blah. She's not into you, dude.
And she was clear about it.
Yes.
There were certainly circumstances.
This person lives in another state. They're in a whole nother state. And he's like, you know, what are the rents like up in Maryland? She's like, oh my God.
How'd she meet this person?
At a bar.
But he was visiting?
No, he was in Georgia. She was in Georgia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then
That's
they met.
fine.
And they hooked up. And now he's like attached.
In love.
Yeah. It's so pathetic.
When somebody's clear, again, you should just take them at their word. There's certainly times like you can play mind games with yourself. There were, I dated someone, meaning I went on a few dates with the person. It was going well, and then they just disappeared.
Sure, yeah.
And like we had conversations about hanging out again in the future, just meaning like, oh yeah, and initiated by her too, not like me saying something and the person saying yeah, just to get the conversation over with.
Right.
And then they disappear, and then it's kind of confusing. And just think of the mind games I would play with myself. Not even games, but just like the way it's very clear. The person disappeared. Whatever the reason.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Like, that this is done. You're not going to hang out again. But I would come up with excuses and still reach out for a little bit. I wasn't overbearing or creepy or weird or nasty. But instead of just taking it at face value. So I get why it can.
Sure. It's fine for there to be a process in you realizing what's actually happening. But at some point you gotta then accept it.
And what happened with that one, I found out later, was she just got back with her ex. Like, they had clearly broken up, and who knows how long they had been broken up. Probably not too long.
Yeah.
And then they got back together.
Why not just say that?
And then she ended up marrying him. I think that's fair too. It's like, I don't know why. I understand that it's a difficult conversation to have. But
it's both ways. It's like, one, you could say, well, I don't owe him anything. I don't know him really. So I don't need to explain anything. But then if that's the case,
polite.
Well, right. And it's like, well, if that's the case, then it really shouldn't mean too much to you to like say something to this person. Just to say like, yo, I got back with my ex. Things are complicated. I hope, it was really nice meeting you. I'm sorry.
Well, especially when you can do it through text.
Oh,
which makes it easier. You could say, look, I guess you could lie even if you didn't enjoy hanging out and say you had a good time. But you don't even need to go that far. You can just say, things were kind of, like you said, they were kind of complicated and messy. And we decided to get back together. Sorry.
Yeah. And you don't know each other. You haven't invested too much time, right? So you could be like, oh, that rules for you. Okay, bye.
Yeah. And also, if you're enjoying hanging out, it kind of stings for a second.
Sure.
But because it has been like 2 weeks, it's
2
we'll get over it pretty quickly.
Who gives a shit? Yeah. And also, it's important to
people start to.
Go ahead.
Go.
It's also important to remember that it's not about you at all. It really has nothing to do with you.
It still feels, again, not awful because something like 2 weeks isn't that much invested time. But if things are going well, you start thinking, oh, this is nice. I wonder where this will go. But it still stings.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it's not about you, there's somewhere in your brain where it's like, well, I wasn't better than that person.
Right.
I didn't make you forget about
after 2 weeks.
Even though the person has a shared history with the other one and invested time and emotion.
Yeah.
So I couldn't make you forget all of that. I'm not that great.
Nope, you're not.
Well, fuck you, bitch.
Yeah, is that what you did?
That's what dudes do.
Yeah.
No, I've never gotten nasty like that.
It's ridiculous.
But I've heard plenty of stories of guys doing that.
Well, fuck you, bitch. You fucking whore.
Yeah, you're not even good looking anyway.
Yeah.
You're fucking ugly.
They go base insults.
It's so pathetic. Yeah. It's like, you bruised my ego, now I'm going to destroy you.
What is that? Is that testosterone?
Who knows? As a person who has low testosterone, I can't speak. Maybe if I ever get on TRT,
woo!
I will become a guy who writes bitch to people.
What's
TRT?
In text messages. Testosterone replacement therapy?
Yeah. I don't know why it's low. Because I'm getting older. I mean,
it's
look, it does.
Low.
It does drop.
It does.
It certainly does drop when you get older. Frank Thomas told me so on TV, and Doug Flutie.
Well, it's true. Look at all the old men that look like lesbian women as they get older.
I better get this figured out. But then my liver enzymes were elevated, so they were hesitant to do anything.
Get that looked
No.
into, Brew.
Nah, I'm gonna avoid it.
Okay.
Fine. This new year,
Oh yeah.
I will look into it. But since we've already established we break resolutions, I will not be getting my liver enzymes checked, and I will not be jelking. I'm sorry to say. But we will focus on one topic.
Okay. Let's come up with a topic and text it to each other by Friday.
The one resolution that'll be kept.
Yes.
We will get back on track. We just used to trade. 1 week was my week to come up with a topic. 1 week was your
seemed
week.
like it was always my week. I felt like you were always approaching me with what's the topic.
That's not true. That's not true.
I didn't say that it was true. I said it felt like that.
At some point, that became a running joke. What's the topic?
Yeah. I was like, I don't know.
I would just throw that out there in that voice.
What's the topic?
Which I think was based on, I don't know where it came from. I feel like a regular guy soundbite that they used to.
Yeah.
It wasn't what's the topic, I don't think, but it was that kind of voice that asked a question.
I still say, I think about it, okay? I think about it.
What's the topic? Anyway, I'll add in the official theme music, so just pretend it's playing.
All right, thanks everybody. Thanks for listening. Happy New Year. Happy 2024. Good luck. Keep your resolutions or don't. Whatever. It's all good. You're doing great. Bye.
Maybe you should also work on better endings to the show.